State of Michigan versus Thomas Styron II.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm confused on behalf of the club.
Sir, state your name, please.
I'm George Styron II.
All right. This date and time set for preliminary examination. Mr. Styron, you are here representing yourself. I would indicate to you that there are 3 charges on the complaint in this case. The first charge is that of fleeing a police officer under the Motor Vehicle Code in the 3rd degree. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years and a $1,000 fine plus court costs. Count 2 on the complaint alleges assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony punishable or a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Count 3 is a charge of driving while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine plus court costs. The subject matter of this preliminary examination is for the people to establish by probable cause that the felonies have been committed. If the people do establish that, then you would be what's called bound over to stand trial in the circuit court. You are here appearing without counsel. I would advise you that if you wish to represent or be represented by counsel, you can let the court know, and the court would make sure that counsel would be available to you in this proceeding. I would also indicate that if you are desirous of continuing to represent yourself, you certainly have an absolute and constitutional right to do so. You will be held to the same standard that attorneys are held to regarding the court rules, regarding the presentation of evidence, and anything else along those lines, as well as questioning of the witnesses. Do you understand all of that, sir?
I understand everything.
Pardon?
I understand everything.
Okay. And, sir, do you still wish to proceed unrepresented? Very good. Do you have any questions before we begin the preliminary examination?
I haven't had a chance to look at the body cam and the evidence. I just got a kite back yesterday telling me I could ask the new staff to be able to view this. I've got maybe 45 minutes or an hour's worth of time in it so far. I'm able to get through the first video.
45 minutes, an hour into what?
I think there's 16 videos on the thumb drive. I think Officer Hooks is an hour and 15 minutes long in itself. So what I'm saying is I've had insufficient time and evidence to even review it, to be able to articulate it.
Excuse.
Your Honor, I understand that the APA that was present before me had intended to admit at some of the body camera. I will not be using any of it today. I'll be proceeding with just Sergeant Houk's testimony.
Right. I guess and I understand that misuse, and I guess the only question would be if whether or not something contained on the body cam might lead to evidence that the defendant either would want to present or lead to evidence that the defendant may wish to question the deputy on. And I'm going to have no way of knowing that.
I appreciate that, Your Honor, especially because my office previously put on the record, and I'll reiterate today, we do plan on adding additional charges, a count of felonious assault, which is assault with a dangerous weapon against the sergeant, and 2 counts of felony firearm, which are mandatory 2 years in prison. So, Your Honor, I don't have a problem if we need to adjourn this room to have more time with the video. Okay.
Right. And under those circumstances, and I forgot, I think you had mentioned that before, that with that. Okay. So, Mr. Styron, you're requesting an adjournment of the proceedings so you can get through that. Is that okay? How far, and I guess I was unclear, you have access to the body cam?
Yes, I do. It's in my property.
Okay. But then you were talking about you got through some of it?
The first video, and I believe it's a YouTube, not YouTube, but a Facebook video of a bystander.
Say that again.
Facebook video that somebody took.
Okay.
And part of his body cam, maybe 20 minutes, half hour's worth.
When you're saying his, you're talking about
Officer Hooks, yes.
Okay.
I believe his body cam footage is an hour and 15 minutes in its totality. So I've barely been able to scratch the surface of that.
Okay, let me ask you. Go ahead. Were you going to say something else on that?
And like I said, I believe there's 15 or 16 videos in their total. And that's just what I was able to see.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How are you arranging to view that video?
So originally I was kiting everybody I could. I was correctional services, the sergeant, that sergeant. Finally, while down in correctional services, I was able to speak with Sergeant Flint.
Okay.
And he was able to arrange this first meeting. And like I said, I got a kite back from him yesterday telling me just to bother the noon staff and they'll arrange it during the noon shift. So
Gotcha.
Prior to yesterday, I didn't. I was still asking. I guess I was just asking the wrong shift. I was asking later in the day. That's for certain. And I really was never able to get anything else arranged as far as being able to go and view it.
Okay, so you were trying to do it one way, that wasn't happening. You finally got to Flint, and he indicated to you that it's the noon staff you're supposed to bother to try to. Okay.
Flint's definitely provided direction in regards to how I can go about getting this.
All right. Okay. So we'll need to then adjourn that. Have you, well, I'm going to ask it one or two ways. How long do you think it'd take you to get through it? I mean, how long do you think it'd take you to get through it? I mean, is it your, and I won't hold you directly to it, but I mean, would you be able to do it in one day if you had access to it, or is it going to take you a few days, or just your best guesses? Because you know how long the clips are. I don't have any idea by design.
I only have knowledge of how long his particular video is, Officer Hoops. I don't, the other ones I haven't looked at, viewed, can't remember how big the file is, nothing like that. If I was out in the world, I could probably have this done within a week at my house. I have my own computer and I planned on originally being able to do this. Also depends on the jail. They've been so short staffed. We've been locked down a lot as well. So it depends on what their staffing numbers is during it. When I'm asking or trying to arrange this, there's so many variables. It'd be hard for me to give you a.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And then also,
but you don't know total. You don't know total time how much there is. You just know that one.
Since May, I've been fighting an illness that just recently the jails addressed. So there's so many things going on. I've been since May. I've been having stomach issues, bowel issues, and on Friday or Saturday I was urinating blood. Finally, I was able to get some the medical staff to do something with that as far as me urinating the cup and then give me some type of antibiotics. But all they can tell me is I have an infection. They just don't know specifically what type of infection. So I'm also dealing with that, and it's making me very lethargic and
okay, I got you.
Energy in that.
What do we
got that as well?
What do we look like on the 6th? Well, we've got stuff. It's a day like today. I got stuff in the morning, but then okay, so that we hopefully won't run into this again. You've gotten all of the discovery.
Pardon me?
You got all of the discovery. Like you got as far as you know, you got the police report. You have all of that. It's the video. All right. So what I will do is I will adjourn the preliminary examination in this matter. I would go to the 30th, but I think I'll go to August 6th, 2024 at 1. I'm going to set it at 1 p.m. We'll just push everything else out of the way, and that way we'll be here. So that'll give you 3 weeks to try to get through that. Now, if there are issues like what you're talking about, short staff, whatever, and you haven't been able to get through everything, talk to one of the deputies so that they can get in contact with my office, so that if we have to push it out another week, we can just get that done without you coming up here telling me you're not ready.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Got a question in regards to, is there any reason why that would be preferred instead of me being able to address what I got going on internally and at a hospital or outside in the world? I guess me being put on bond so I can take care of my illness as well as look at this discovery and handle that. So it'd probably be done in a more timely manner. There's less variables involved.
Your Honor, I'm not available before then anyway, so I'm very happy to come back in 3 weeks once he's had the opportunity to review it in the jail. And yes, as Your Honor is well aware, if this gentleman's ailments were to the level that he needed to be hospitalized, the hospitalize him. Additionally, the jail would notify their chain of command if there were any needs that exceed the jail's current ability to assist him. I've received no communication from the jail to that effect, which tells me it's not happening, meaning that the jail is the appropriate place for him. Also, Your Honor, I will, as the court knows, the defendant is in custody without bond for the defendant's demeanor in this courtroom. At the time that my office charged this case, we requested a $50,000 cash surety bond. This is a person who, while possessing a firearm, threatened to cook the sergeant, which is one of the reasons that I'm planning to amend the information against him. Additionally, Your Honor, this case originally came in as a domestic violence call, and Sergeant Howe took the opportunity to try to protect the community by proceeding after this defendant in a manner to not only protect one individual woman, but to protect our community. And it resulted in this person possessing a firearm and not only threatening the sergeant, but threatening the sergeant's dog as well.
My rebuttal to that is, when I said cook, I made it very clear. I said the man legally hit the courts, which he iterated on his body cam. So according to the body cam video, he was fully aware that I meant legally through the court process. And also, I believe in the police report, he was sitting there for a welfare check with a possible rolling domestic, which led me being pulled over. Me being a single person in my van, not two people, which would be involved in domestic, I imagine. And then once pulled over, pretty sure he knew I wasn't who he was looking for, just based on my parents' description, based on who was looking up in his the talent or the lead system or whatever it is they use in the police cruiser. Make sure to iterate that I plan to use the legal system to address any transgressions or trespasses I felt was made against me. Also, I was the one who stayed on top of these charges. I'm the one who called the court every day, stayed on top of this case, and I'm the one who arranged the court date with Ms. Fink. I was the one who called the courts week after week, and they didn't have my case in, and finally they did. I was very proactive in trying to get this addressed through the court system. I had no intention of running or trying to avoid it at all. And I think my actions were such.
In this matter, I'm not going to, at this point, change your bond, Mr. Styron, and I'll just put it to you this way. I don't know the facts of the case. By design, I don't. So I'm going to certainly, I hear the allegations. I hear your response to the allegations, and at some point I'll see the evidence. In terms of what I had previously heard in regard to this case, I would consider your actions on that date, at least as I understand them to be at this time, that you pose a significant risk to the public and to public safety by your conduct that day. Okay, I'm not sure about the comments. We'll deal with that. Further, as the prosecutor indicated, your demeanor in the courtroom prior to today leads the court to question whether or not releasing you, I could trust you to do what I ask you to do. This is the first time today, as we were talking to each other going through the things, that it's been a civil conversation with you to try to resolve the things. All I'm trying to do is get the case through. I don't know why the other days you made a determination to try to act a particular way to the court, because I'm just, like I said, I'm just here trying to get the case heard and get everything done. And so I have, based upon what I hear regarding the case, what I also have seen in terms of your demeanor in the courtroom, I have great reluctance in terms of doing that. What I will tell you is this, is that I certainly will address, so I'm going to deny your request to the extent it was a request to change your bond in this case at this time. Certainly, hopefully we'll be able to go forth on the 6th, and I certainly will relook at everything on the 6th, and you could raise the issue again. But I want you to understand that part of it is because of what the allegations here are, and I'm not saying you're guilty of them, I'm not saying any of that, but in terms of the allegations and what could be and is, from this court's perspective, um, a situation where you may pose a risk to the community, but also a lot of it is of your own doing in terms of your what happened here. Okay. And so all of that I have to take into and can take into consideration. But like I said, in fairness to you on the 6th, because today was 180 degrees from before. And so I will now factor that in. And on the 6th, certainly I will take a look at anything you just raised again before the court. Okay. And I would agree, just real quick, and I'll let you. I would agree with what Ms. Hughes has said, and that is that if your medical were to an extent, our jail is excellent. I have to say the sheriff's office is extraordinary in making sure that people get the medical care that they need. But certainly you would have to apprise them of that, and I think maybe you have, and they will make sure that you're taken care of. I just don't have a doubt in my mind and have never had an issue with an inmate getting the care that they need. So, all right.
Two things. 4 times we've been adjourned because I asked to represent myself. I don't believe my demeanor played any roles in that. I thought it was because there was some misunderstanding as far as the courts and trying to represent myself.
Oh no.
And then in regards to the medical thing, I reported this in May. It took until I got a flood in July before anything was ever followed up on or done.
Okay. I suggest that you send another request regarding the medical issue. And Mr. Styron, I would also suggest to you, it never is an issue. I've had 2 others come through representing themselves. That is never an issue with me because you have a right to do that. And I'm just going to let you know, that is not the reason. You need to go back and you need to look at what you were doing in this courtroom or this court for reasons I don't even, Mr. Styron, understand. So I'm not here to debate that with you. I'm just telling you that's where it was.
What I was saying was maybe I was misunderstood. That when we went to proceed with the court proceedings, there was some misunderstanding in regards to the public defender's office representing me versus me representing myself. Since there was that misunderstanding, it was adjourned, I believe, 4 times over those matters. It wasn't because I was acted out or anything. I believe I came and went so fast. It wasn't even an opportunity.
No, there were a couple of adjournments because of that. Okay. But that was because you needed, there was assistance you needed in regard to what we were dealing with at a particular given moment. And so that's where the PD was standing in. But no, it was your behavior on the date that I revoked your bond. And then the other dates were trying to make sure of that. And I was, I'll just be honest with you, Mr. Styron, I wanted to make sure that you truly wanted to represent yourself and that your rights were protected with having the PD here. And until I was clear on that, I wasn't going to let things proceed because, well, I'll just put it to you bluntly, you got a hot head sometimes. And I wanted to make sure you weren't making that decision just because and not fully understanding what this was, because these are serious charges and there are potentially more that are coming. That's my whole thing on that. Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right.
One last question, if we're about to be done. In order to get a hold of your office, I can use the channel of the jail, not the mail system, because I don't have envelopes to pass information or anything. The jail is my channel that I go through to contact you and inform you of certain things, be it whether it's documents or
I'm not, well,
or in regards to me needing more time.
I think you would have to send some type of communication, written communication to my office. I don't think there's a direct line, and I'm not even sure how that works because I usually don't have inmates contacting my chambers directly. Sometimes they will mail things, which seems to me to not be it. Do you? Oh, there he is. So he'll figure that out. He'll let you know how to get a communication up to my office.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not whether or not I can do anything about it, I don't know. So when that happens, so that you understand this, Styron, whatever you send to me that I'm going to review needs to also go to the other side. But what I will do to try to make things easier, if this is okay with the people, is that once it comes to me, I will make sure that whatever you're sending to me, they're going to get a copy.
That works, thank you.
All right, because envelopes are $1 and I have no money in my account, so it'd be very burdensome to try and buy envelopes to send to everybody.
They're $1? Seriously?
No, down there.
I got about $500 in back. That okay.
So
Why? No, I'm just saying, if I can sell them for $1, I'll just take the whole box down. Anyway, okay. So we sorted that out. Make sure to get with them. They'll make sure it gets up to us.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Styron, I appreciate you behaving yourself this way. Because just listen, because you're coming in hot like you did before, I'm just going to let you know, with me or any other judge, that's a battle you're going to lose every time.
I can appreciate that, and my only response to that is I've never had that happen. All the other judges have been had one from whether check. Miss Fink that was able to have a conversation after the court time.
She's nicer. She's nicer than I am.
She's a very nice woman, that's for sure. And
She's much nicer than I am.
like I
And
say,
so she has patience. Sometimes I don't.
fair enough.
So you got to take it as it is. All right.
Well,
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you.
Thomas Styron II faces multiple felony charges in Michigan and opts to represent himself. The defendant struggles to review extensive body cam evidence while addressing serious medical issues. The judge explains self-representation rules, stresses public safety, and denies bond. The preliminary hearing is adjourned for 3 weeks, giving Styron time to prepare. This tense courtroom battle showcases the challenges of self-representation, judge-defendant conflict, and high-stakes legal procedure.